about one of the important aspects, which is the integrating with GIS. So the agenda of the presentation, I will concentrate on 3 items basically. Is the power of integration. Then we will highlight on the levels of integration with examples, by giving an example about systems that used within Saudi Aramco. Then we'll conclude by business benefits of integration. As all you know, that GIS is valuable as a framework for managing business activities, providing many benefits. And GIS is largely applied to individual systems. So GIS is valuable. Now we'll go to another concept, which is the integration. So what does integration mean? There are a lot of definitions for integration, but I choose this one to summarize what is integration. Integration basically bringing together our complex data, knowledge, and system, and make it accessible to manage our business processes more efficiently. I will talk about SAP and GIS integration. As you know that Saudi Aramco is using SAP as the corporate system to manage different business processes and different function areas. So I will concentrate on integration between SAP and GIS. So SAP and GIS system are connected into what we call integrated solutions to provide new capabilities and functionalities that help Saudi Aramco to manage their business processes more efficiently in a better way. Another definition, what do we mean by composite user? This is like an introduction to go to the main subject. So typically we have SAP users that are using SAP systems in different areas, and we have GIS users. And by connecting these 2 users or these 2 platforms, we introduce what we call composite user. Composite user is using what we call solution. The solution is basically using different system within one platform. Integration levels, and basically there are a lot of definitions and classification of integration. So what we selected here is the one that I will talk about is the data level integration, application level integration, and user interface integration, or user interface level integration. And in the coming slides, I will give example about each one of these integration levels. So the first level is the data level integration. We are talking about synchronizing the SAP data with GIS data. So what we are saying basically, SAP business objects is equivalent to features in GIS. So for any correspondence spatial data in GIS, there will be one SAP business object. For example, if you have, for example, building, roads, administrative area that resides in GIS, you will have corresponding SAP attributes. So basically, we're talking about data integration without any business transactions or workflows. An example of that integration type, that type of integration, is the GIS for public health, where this system is used by Saudi Aramco medical organization. The data is extracted from a healthcare system through batch processing into GIS database. And it is published on a map where the Saudi Aramco organization or health organization can do some analysis about this data. And this data basically is about the diseases diseases of Saudi Aramco employees in different areas. So it will give some highlights about the geographic distribution of these diseases that will enable the Saudi Aramco medical organization to take the necessary action and do proper action to help them to mitigate these problems. So this is an example of the data integration. As you can see here, the data is exchanged between SAP and GIS. The other level is what we call the application level integration, where the focus on coupling GIS and SAP to perform not only data interaction, but also to perform workflow actions, create a new transaction to better execute the business processes. Typical example of this level of integration is the land management solution. The land management solution is used currently by Land Affairs Department to manage Saudi Aramco lands and reservation kingdom-wide. And what you see here is a screen from the land management solution where you can see that the web viewer or GIS web viewer is embedded within SAP. The user can perform actions from within the web viewer, and it will be reflected to SAP without navigating to the other system. So he can, for example, update the GIS object status like approved or rejected, and it will be automatically reflected in the SAP. So we are talking, and also he can click and do some or trigger some workflows. So it's not only data, it's transactions and also workflows. The third level is the user interface level integration. We have a three categorization: GIS-centric approach, SAP-centric approach, composite approach. I will talk about two of them, which is the SAP-centric approach, where the map is embedded within SAP. The third one is the second one is the composite approach. Again, this is a screen from the land management solution, and this is what we call the GIS online conflict viewer. The conflict viewer is a tool within land management that gives land affairs the capability to see the cases that are conflicting with the being analyzed case. For example, here is what you see here is the yellow one is the case that being analyzed, and in the right-hand side is the cases that are conflicting with this case. So if the user wants to know some information about one case, so he doesn't have to go back to SAP. So he is within the web viewer. He can click on identifier and click one of these cases, and the data will synchronously will be brought from SAP for the user to analyze the case and give better decisions. And this is synchronous, so it means that the user will see the data online. So there is no need to go back to the SAP. The composite approach, basically we are talking about navigating and performing a transaction from within one system without going to the other system. So it's not only changing the data, it's not only giving or triggering the workflow seamlessly in the other system, but navigating from the, for example, here, as you can see here, this is the community senior camp in Saudi Aramco, and these are the houses within the senior camp. So the user of community service can do certain actions from the map, and he can navigate, for example, to SAP plant maintenance, which is the system that is being used now in Saudi Aramco to do maintenance orders for these houses. So if you click on one of these houses, it will take him directly to SAP screen, which is the plant maintenance or the maintenance solution that is being used in Saudi Aramco, and vice versa also. Also, in case of emergency, let's assume that, God forbid, لا سمح الله إن في حريق في واحد من البيوت in one of these houses. The system is capable to identify what we call the impacted zone, and this can be identified automatically. But identifying the impacted zone without having the information is useless. So the identified zone here is within the GIS viewer, and the information what you see here on the left-hand side is information that are brought from SAP. So the user can click on this and go and see what are the information about the residents of the house, or can send SMS or emails depending on the incidents. In the office space management also within the community, as you can see here, that there is color coding, and this is basically the office space utilization, where you see here the utilization or occupancy rate, what we call, and the occupancy resides within also SAP, and it is aggregated and summarized into this map here. And by color coding, you can see what is the occupancy rate. For example, 10%, 90%, or others. So to summarize and conclude, what is the business benefits? Now we showed integration. So what is the business benefits for organization the organization can get from business integration or business business benefits? It increases the efficiency of managing and performing business processes, streamline business processes via coupling, as we said, it's not only data, by coupling workflow in the integrated solution, and empower users to take more accurate and faster decisions. Also maintain audit trail, as you know that audit trail is very important to manage the daily job, along with workload management in a single platform instead of having 2 or 3 workloads or audit trail. So while GIS integration, all business data has geographical component that can be geo-enabled. This is very important, but what is more important is the integration that provides a powerful combination of tools for visualizing relationships and patterns, allowing for informed decision. By that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.